It has been 5 days since a horrific act of violence in our community. 5 people killed at work on Monday morning. A new mural now painted onto the plywood used to board up the front windows at Old National Bank. The windows were shattered during the gunfire exchange between the shooter and police. The gold and navy heart was created as a show of support for the victims using the bank colors. And right now, 3 Kentuckiana families are remembering their loved ones. 3 memorial services are underway. We'll take you to the visitation for Joshua Barrick and funeral for Dina Eckert in just a moment. But first, we start with Tommy Elliott, whose funeral is this afternoon. WHAS 11's Isaiah Kim Martinez is in the newsroom with more on how Tommy is being remembered right now. Isaiah?
Well, Shay, we heard from Tommy Elliott's daughters here today. He has 4 of them, and while there were tears shed, the tone for much of the service was uplifting as family and friends remembered fond memories, saying that's what Tommy would have wanted. Now, based on everything we've seen over the last few days, it's hard to find people who didn't know Elliott in some way, shape, or form, or whose hearts weren't touched by him in some way. Elliott was known as someone who would never hesitate to reach out, to encourage and congratulate at a moment's notice. We heard from one of his 4 daughters here today.
We'll get through this together. Haven't figured out how yet, but we will. One step at a time, and with the help of all of these people sitting in this church. Dad, I love you. I wish I could give you another hug, and I had one last time where I could follow your instructions too. Buzz me back.
And Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear also spoke. He's called Elliott one of his best friends and mentors, someone who helped him in his law career and his run for governor. But more than that, someone who saw something in him many didn't.
My memories of his life are all happy. They're all happy. They were all filled with love and caring. Listen, he didn't have to decide he was going to invest in a 30-something-year-old lawyer that some people had just written off being somebody else's son. I was never that to him.
In his obituary, we're told Elliott's love language was acts of service, and it was clear from every speaker today, Shay, that held true throughout his life. We'll have much more coverage here at 6 o'clock. For now, I'll send it back to you, Shay.
Okay, Isaiah, thank you very much. Well, WHAS 11's Connor Steffen was there today and talked to friends prior to the memorial service. He'll be bringing us the best memories of Tommy Elliott coming up tonight on the WHAS 11 night team. Also happening right now, the visitation services for Joshua Barrick. He was a 40-year-old senior vice president at Old National Bank. Those who knew him best say he had a heart of gold and he held true to his beliefs. Visitations happening right now at Ratterman Funeral Home. That goes until 8. His funeral mass is scheduled for tomorrow morning at Holy Trinity Catholic Church. Also happening right now inside Northside Christian Church in New Albany. It is somber, as to be expected, for Dina Eckert's funeral. But we're told it's also bright. Dina's spirit shining on. Dina worked at Old National Bank as an executive administrative officer. And while she cared deeply for her co-workers, nothing was more important to her than her family. Her husband of 28 years, Mike, and her 2 children, Ben and Emily. Well, she was the calming voice on the other end of a 911 call from a woman inside Old National Bank on Monday, hiding in a closet with a colleague after the gunman opened fire on his co-workers. Today, Dana Frost with MetroSafe is now opening up about that call, sitting down with our Brooke Hash and walking us through the terrifying moments before police arrived.
How are you doing after Monday?
I'm okay.
That was rough.
It was chaotic, but I'm okay. It was one of the calls that I'll never forget. To sit there and listen to someone who's hiding and hear what's going on in the background is unreal. It's crazy.
Walk me through that. She gets on the phone. What did she say?
She said that there was a shooter, an active shooter inside.
8 or 9 people have been shot?
Uh-huh.
Are you with any of them?
Yes, but I'm in a closet hiding.
I was trying to get as much information from her as I could, all while trying to keep her calm.
Do you know what kind of injuries there are?
I don't know. I just saw a lot of blood.
Okay.
All while talking to her, you could hear the person shooting in the background.
Is that shots fired?
Yes, it is.
What does that do to you?
At that moment, it did nothing because I was focused on getting what I needed to get for the responders. Now it's kind of crazy to listen to the call and hear that and think how things could have been different had he found her.
You never have a moment days later where it just hits you?
If I will have one, it hasn't happened yet.
And I think maybe too, it's because she survived.
Possibly, yeah. I think we would be having a totally different conversation if she had not.
We've got everybody coming, okay?
Okay. How long will it be before they get here?
They're already on the way.
I know, but how long?
Is there anything that you would have done differently looking back on it now?
Just talking to her more at the end of the call. There was a lot of dead air. I wished I had just kept reassuring her that help was coming.
What would you do if you saw her?
Hug her. I wanted to hug her that day. I wanted to reach through the phone and hug her. I just felt so bad for her.
Metro Safe is now working on that reunion with Dana and the caller. Moments after Brooke Hash talked to her this morning, the woman who had hid in the closet left her a voicemail, both eagerly awaiting that hug. Now we do have some changes to the weather on the way. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Ben Pine.
Yeah, Shay, first time we've seen some rain on the radar in about 9 days. This has been our longest stretch of dry conditions so far this year, and it's just pretty isolated, though. Most of us are going to stay dry for this evening, and some of the heaviest rain is coming down off to the southeast of Louisville right now. You can see that little swirl in the atmosphere off to our southeast. No severe weather, no flooding expected. You can see one little downpour there in Bullitt County, just off to the northwest of Shepherdsville. A little tiny shower near New Albany as well, but definitely more dry areas than wet at this time. Really just some random pop-up isolated showers, except off to the southeast. Better coverage of some of this heavier rain and some rumbles of thunder as well around Greensburg, just off to the south of you now in Campbellsville. So in a couple minutes, it's going to be heading right over the top of Campbellsville, and still some scattered showers over the top of Adair County and around Columbia. So we'll see this activity continue over the next couple of hours. But as we go towards sunset, just after 8 p.m., notice most of it is gone, and most of our Friday evening will be dry. If you have some plans to be out later on tonight, don't think you'll need that umbrella. For tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. Looks mainly dry during the day, and then overnight into Sunday morning, that's going to be our best chance of rain for the weekend, and some much cooler conditions will finish off the weekend as well. So we'll look at those changes throughout the weekend in a lot more detail coming up hour by hour with Futurecast. Currently at 81 degrees, that is our high for today. It's a mix of clouds and sunshine and a few of those isolated showers, and temperatures in the 70s and lower 80s. For tonight, mostly dry and mild, low of 58 degrees, already 75 at lunchtime tomorrow, and plenty of sunshine for our Saturday with a high up to 80 degrees. Again, we'll plan out the weekend with all those changes on the way coming up in just a few minutes. Shay?
All right, Ben, thank you. Well, today, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg promoted 4 Louisville Metro Government EMS workers to newer positions within Metro Emergency Services. The 4 promoted were Mark Fuqua, who was promoted to Lieutenant Colonel, Dallas Chesser, and Harry Dozier III. They were promoted to the rank of Major. Joshua Ford is now Captain Joshua Ford. Mayor Greenberg started his speech by thanking emergency services for their quick life-saving actions at Monday's mass shooting.
Like what we saw on Monday with the mass murder at Old National Bank, when your teams ran into the unknown and into the danger, because that's what you all do. You help people. You save lives at your own risk.
After the ceremony, we got to talk with Metro EMS's newest Major Dallas Chesser. He said this promotion was the culmination of a lot of hard work.
We have a path to progression, and I've just always kind of been driven towards that, and everyone here has as well. From an EMT to an FTO, and then an FTO to a paramedic, and then you have sergeant and lieutenant, and then here we are ultimately at major. So it's a culmination of a lot of hard work. I'm really happy to be here.
Major Chesser says he has been with Louisville EMS for over 8 years now. It is the only department he has ever known. Congratulations to all 4 of them on those new titles. Right now, police are trying to find out what caused a fire that injured 2 people and killed 12 horses. It happened early this morning in Lexington. Crews were called to the barn just after 2 on South Yarnelltown Road, that is northwest of downtown Lexington. The barn was engulfed in flames when firefighters arrived. We are told the barn in this situation is a total loss. The Jeffersonville Police Department has arrested 2 students after 2 separate schools in the Greater Clark County School District received threats today. Police say the threats to River Valley Middle School and Parkview Middle School are unrelated and unsubstantiated. Investigators say they arrested 1 student from each school and charged them with offenses related to the school threats. Officers interviewed multiple people and searched both schools and the homes of those arrested. They found no weapons or devices. Jeffersonville police emphasized parents need to talk with their children about the severity of threatening school safety. Also today, Indiana State Police say they are in communication with local schools out of an abundance of caution after multiple bomb threats. State Police say it was an email sent to several dozen schools threatening the use of explosive devices that were allegedly already planted on various school campuses. Investigators say they immediately allocated all intelligence resources to investigate the validity of the threats, including local and federal partners, and no explosive devices were found in any school.